You ready for me to start this?
Yeah, think so.
On.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we will open the meeting of the Thorntown Utility Board for September, what is today? 5th, September 5th. Pat McPeak is missing from the board. Everybody else is here, no extra guests. And I don't have a lot to go over, but I got a couple of things here if I can find them. Where'd you go? Why don't you go ahead, Eric? You got anything?
I just wanted to get some updates from our last meeting. We had talked about the Toro mower. What was the read on the water rate increase and that $14,000 fee? Where are we at on that? Those are the questions I have.
I just got a call.
And lawyer, yeah, the lawyer situation.
I just got a call from Bruce, and he said that the $14,000, he had somebody do whatever they're supposed to do to figure out what they owe or what we owed. He didn't give me a number, but he said it was substantially bigger than what we thought it was going to be. So we're going to have to see how they came up with that, which, you know, if it's been 20 years since they've done this, it could be a lot more. Now, just because from what he told me, his understanding, and I agree with what he told me, just because it's supposed to be, say, $50,000 doesn't mean they have to charge us $50,000. So we could start it somewhere and increase it each year till we get it back where it's supposed to be. I'm not sure what they're going to do.
But that's still on the table, though.
It's still on the table. Nothing's been decided on that. He just told me he got that done and had the number. He's the only one that knows the number. Where did that? I put my notes in here for this meeting and now I can't find them. I know what most of it is. Lawnmower. Do we have a new lawnmower yet?
No.
What are we waiting on?
Dave to give me a Toro estimate.
Go buy a lawnmower.
Okay, good.
You should have called me. I would have told you to go do that a long time ago.
Well, thank you for saying that. I thought he was so excited into his that I should hold off and wait for him to give me the go.
Get a lawnmower. We can't
It's been a
wait.
month.
It's going to be snowing.
Yeah, we're almost done.
We're going.
October.
Yeah,
The use you would have got. Yeah. Okay.
we're going to need a snow blower instead of a mower.
Right? Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's
But
okay.
you should have
That's
called me. We should have had that lawnmower a long time ago. Bruce called, said you were aware of what happened. He had a power surge.
Yeah.
Tore up his TV.
Bruce Bertner?
Yeah.
He said tore up his TV?
Tore up his TV and something else. He's wanting to know about getting compensated for that.
Okay, so what happened was he had a connection coming off of his transformer that had loosened. And when those quick connects come loose, you know, sometimes you get this, and that's what happened. So INCA did come out, obviously, and repair it. It was a fairly simple thing, you know. However, it did cause him to have a surge. So that's what happened. It's fairly common, to tell you the truth, probably half a dozen times a year. So once every couple of months, you run into that kind of situation.
Yeah, I don't know. That might be a call to our new lawyer.
Right.
Do we pay for that, or does your homeowner's insurance pay for it?
I would assume homeowners.
That's
Why would we?
That's what I would say. Yeah, utility provides your power. And then if you have, when I went through this with Synergy, it's the same thing is in all kinds of facilities. You get dirty power, they can't explain it. You get surges, lights go off and on, things blow up, and utility says, there's nothing we can do about it. It's just the way it is. So then they recommend on your side that you install additional equipment to help with surges, et cetera, on the owner of the building side. And sometimes that could be substantial costs. Because I've seen some pretty heinous power issues at large facilities that you would not think would be an issue, but in an area that's growing rapidly, you see those issues pop up all the time. I would be surprised if he would get any compensation from the utility, or that our attorney would say that he's owed anything.
Okay.
And I think it does go back onto homeowners insurance for the replacement.
He was just asking. He didn't sound like he was upset. He just
Right.
wanted to find out.
I will, because I'll touch on this, not to change from where you're going with this, because it's along these lines. I've been in contact with Highland, and they're the firm that's investigating the water main, and therefore the insurance to potentially, because this is along the same lines. And I'm telling you right now that their position, and they haven't made a decision, they're completely open to hearing everybody, but their position is probably going to be that just for the water main, because this is so, there's no negligence. It's very hard to justify compensating anyone.
And this is who?
They're called Highland, and they're the ones who are investigating the insurance claims by Stuckey, Pizza King.
Okay.
Oh, they're
J.C. Cosino.
the insurance investigators then.
Right.
Got it.
So they're
Okay.
investigating something along the same lines as someone's trying to make a claim against the utility, and they're saying, well, there's just no negligence for you to. But like I said, they're completely open to it. I mean, they are listening to these guys, and they're investigating every single turnover, every rock they can. They have to fill out this whole long thing of what happened and pictures and.
I'm glad that was one of my questions, if we'd heard anything from anybody.
That's
If we,
where we are right now.
okay.
They are, in fact, this company I'm telling you about, contacting INPA directly to find out what their position is. I don't know where they are in that process, but we're going to find out what their position is on the whole thing, and whether or not their insurance wants to come in and try and take care of some of what we're talking about here. Because obviously they're the ones that
Yeah, they
did the hold down.
they physically did it, but yeah.
So anyway, just sharing that with you.
Daggone it, I can't find that. I know one of the other things I want to talk about before I leave today. We don't have to do it here. We can do it at the office, but before I take off, we are going to set a date and a time to start the budget and the learning how to do that income statement next week, unless you're gone or something. My calendar is fairly open, pretty open next week.
Yeah, I hate to tell you this. Next week, I have to cut the street out here for Braden's new water lines. He
Oh,
wants to, and it's gotta be a 2, maybe a 3-day event.
okay.
Because I gotta cut Market Street from his building all the way across, because the main runs on that side. And that's a pretty big,
Okay. Well, in that case, it's going to be 2 weeks because I'm going to be gone all week, the week after that,
okay.
but we can do it.
Can you email it, Dick? Because I certainly love if it's okay with you guys to sit and see.
Oh, absolutely. I don't care
So
who.
I can-
Yeah, we talked about that. I don't care who's
I
there.
personally think the strategy, we're all understanding it, is incredibly smart. It needs to occur, and it needs to be,
Yeah.
know exactly where every single number comes from, because at the end
Uh,
of the day, he's the one really truly managing it as far as
Yeah.
what happens in the day to day.
and I had to take my laptop in, and I apologize, but my screen quit working, and I got it back, and they had to wipe everything, and I had to start all over, and I should have, not sure what month we're on. This is September, must be July. I should have July's income statement done, but I'm having trouble getting my computer back up. I'm gonna have to call my son this week and get him to.
Technology's great when it works.
I can't even find like the spreadsheet. I found the Word type thing, but the spreadsheet's gone. I've tried to do it, and every time you want to do something, it wants a password from something you used 5 years ago, and then it's been a pain. But I will get that fixed, and we will start. Won't be next week, won't be the week after that, it'll be the next week after that.
Okay.
Maybe we can still set a time and date after the meeting. And what else was on that list? I can't believe that's not on here. I've called that up 3 or 4 times, and now that I need it, I can't find it. There it is. Oh, the water rate increase. We talked about going ahead and increasing that, and I looked into that. I sent the stuff to Amy because she was questioning whether we could use that leftover rate increase, whether that was kosher or not. She didn't really answer whether it was kosher or not, but apparently, which I know they were going to come up, they're doing a rate study. They're coming up with a whole new rate thing for the water plant. I didn't know where they were at on that, when that was going to happen, but she's saying within a couple of months, we're going to raise the rates for that. So
regardless.
Yes.
That's separate from what we're talking about wanting to do. Right?
That is completely separate from what we're talking about doing, but her question, and I'm throwing it out here, is there really any,
It's Frank.
is there really any point to adding a 12% raise today and then raising it again 2 months from now? By the time we get through the steps to do that, that other one will be here. What is going on out there?
Oh, he's talking to somebody in the truck right now. Well, I guess my thought would be, first off, if they get their whatever information they're doing together in 2 months, does that mean they'll really raise it in 2 months? Does that mean they're gonna propose to raise it in 2 months? And therefore, it might really be another couple months after that before the second one comes into effect.
My thought would be, I would hope anyway, that they would be trying to get this rate adjusted by the first of the year, but I don't know if it'll happen that fast or not.
And when are your thoughts on trying to get hours implemented? Immediately, or the same thing, first of the year?
My thought to begin with was to get it done as soon as we could.
And I guess the question then would be, if they decide to raise the rate, let's just throw a number out there, let's say they said 20%. Would it make a difference if we raised ours now and then hit people again for another 20 in 4 to 5 months, or also raise it 32% at one time? I mean, what's the difference? I mean,
You're gonna lose either way.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm on the opposite end of it.
Hey, Frank, I got the alarm off today.
Did it? Well, I turned it off yesterday. I didn't think anybody turned it back on. I just leave the damn thing off. I don't know why she was thinking some of us were coming here.
So yeah, I don't care. I'll go ahead and bring it up at the next meeting if you want to do that. It makes no difference to me, but I don't know whether it's worth going through all the hoops.
The big thing for me is communicating with the town members and say, rates are going up.
Right.
Just be prepared. That way when they come, we're all in it together and everyone needs to know what's coming. And then the response, of course, is, well, what's the reason? It's like, well, twofold, we didn't have enough money to repair water lines, and 2, we've got a new water treatment plant coming on. Water treatment plant coming on.
Yeah.
I don't want to pay for that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think maybe we bring this up at the next town board meeting, and we ask, my questions are really the same as yours, but we bring the question up. So this rate increase that you're working on, when is that going to take place? If it's going to be 6 months down the road, we still want to do now. If it's going to be before the end of the year, then I'm okay with doing one, I think. I mean, that's going to be, if they get that, and they probably won't get it done before the end of the year, but
Well, so rate, basically the schedules depend on the rate study timeline and then all of Earl's questions.
yeah.
There's nothing more to discuss on that piece.
Yeah.
And maybe get a guesstimate from them if they have a ballpark figure at all of what they're looking at.
Right. Yeah, I think that's the next thing we do is just ask the questions at the board meeting to see what we need to do. And hopefully Amy will be there, because she didn't really say whether we could or couldn't. She just said, do you really want to when we're going to do this other one in a couple of months? But like you said, if they get it done in a couple of months, it'll be another 2 months before they can
Shoot, yeah.
get everything done to,
Might be longer than that. You know how slow some things work around here.
yeah. Kind of like getting the lawnmower bought,
There you
which should have
go.
taken 2 weeks,
There you go.
tops. Okay, let me see what else is on here since I found that. I found out, and I'm kind of glad to hear this, we don't have to come up with the salary increases until November. So hopefully we can get through this budget and make sense of,
So
again, I'm not trying to squelch these raises we were talking about, but it makes me feel better to have a budget and say, yeah, no problem. Here's the money and let's do it.
So can you explain to me is it a cyclical review on employee salaries that they include every year in the budget for projected increases? Is that why it's coming up now?
Yes,
And it's every year that employees get a salary review, is that correct?
yes.
Okay.
And the thing I wanted to bring up last meeting, and I didn't because I didn't know the number, and I'm not sure I know exactly what it is now. I wrote it down somewhere and I didn't bring that piece of paper. When we give a raise, when we give we're looking at basically giving some of these people a $2,500 raise. That's what we talked about last time. Again, whatever I say here may sound like I'm against that, and that's not the case. I just want to make sure we all understand what we're doing here, because a $2,500 raise cost us a lot more than $2,500. You have to add on about 19%, I believe, for pensions. And I don't know what else. There's other stuff that all goes up. So a 10% raise is a 29% cost.
Yep.
So
Got to pay payroll taxes.
payroll taxes and pensions and yeah. So that's all I just want to make, and that's another reason I want to kind of go through the budget.
$2,500 increases and the $2,500 out cost for.
Exactly. It's
Right.
a lot more.
Correct.
And then I know I keep repeating myself. I can't stress enough that I don't think paying these other guys the $2,500 a year is, I don't think that's outrageous at all, but it's a big chunk of money, because you do that and Earl's going to want $10,000 if they get $2,500, and then Sandy's going to want some, and this is going to be a balloon before we're
Oh,
done.
it is, yeah. I mean, got to catch up for, in my opinion, in certain aspects, there's a
Right.
to catch up involved, and I go to the grocery store. It's
Right. That's what I say. I'm not trying to talk anybody out of this, but that's why I want to do this budget thing, so that we can see what this is really going to cost us. And then if we still think we can afford it,
Yeah.
then I'm all for it. I'm not trying to squelch this thing at all. I just want to make sure we're going in with our eyes open. So we got a little time anyway to figure that out. This is not the one I had. This is from before. Still had the lawnmowers on there, 815. Got it. Okay. Good news, the grant, and you may know this already, I don't know, but I hadn't heard anything and I was getting nervous because I thought no news might be bad news, but the grant for the water plant has been approved. We got that.
How much was that grant?
750?
750,000.
Yeah. The power line out to Arbor, the new power line,
Mhm.
is that in?
No, it's not done.
I thought they had to have that done like a
They-
month ago.
So they brought that line around to where we had that, and as far as I know, unless they change something different, that's where it ends. Because they haven't changed any lines down through Grant Street. And remember, all along it was they needed to upgrade those lines down there to compensate for the new demand out there. Now, I do know this, the IMPA just put some locates in 4 out there, because they're messing around behind, down that strip that runs north and south behind Oak. So basically, from, where Threlco's mom lives, where Steve Skank lives,
Yeah.
all the way out to 47, they're messing around back there now. So this is all part of what you're asking about, as far as I know now. I haven't seen running new lines down through Grant.
I'm kind of wondering, and we could end up looking kind of stupid on this if we're not careful. They've charged us for some stuff,
IMPA,
and I don't really know if it has to do with that line that they're putting in out there.
you know what the
But-
items were?
It looks to me like we've paid for some of that work that they've done, which should come off of our $200,000.
Yes.
But I don't know how much we've paid towards that. I hope,
Ally
Corinne's
and
keep-
Kareem would know.
I hope they're keeping track somehow, but I'm not sure they know what's what. I mean, they know they're getting billed from IMPA, but I don't know that they know that this $2,000 is for that line and this $2,000 is for something else.
I think they did, and the reason being is, I want to say Sandy gets those first, and we've been reviewing them.
Okay.
One I think was for $20,000, and it was definitely identified as being for out there.
Okay.
So other than the service agreement that we pay monthly, which is completely separate, anything and everything we're gonna charge extra should all be there, because we haven't asked for any extra service from them, other than that right now.
We probably should get Mike in here. It might be
Call Mike
about,
for an update.
it might be about time for him to come in here anyway, but if he can come over to our next meeting, just so we can touch base and say,
Get a status update.
here's what we've charged you for this, and check our numbers again. I don't think they're gonna try to gyp us, but just due diligence, we should be keeping track of, our number should be the same as theirs, I guess is where I'm
Yeah,
trying
their
to.
invoice number should match, yeah.
Yeah,
So is there a cost report? How is a cost, are there like project cost report in the system in Thorntown where you can allocate costs to a project so you can track it? And then Corinne can print out.
that'd be great, wouldn't it?
I'm asking.
I don't know the answer to
Okay.
that.
That, because, I mean, tracking goes down to what's this bill for? It's for this. You
And
track it,
I've talked to
then-
Corinne,
Okay.
it'd be nice to have a separate line that here's what we've paid for that project out there.
So we know if we paid what we paid
Yeah,
for. Exactly.
Because here's the thing, when we do this income statement thing and we show we're making $10,000 for the year, but we don't really show that $20,000 went to this project, I mean, we know we've spent that 20,000, it came off, but we don't show that it's any different than just regular expenses. We don't show that we've spent this much money on the project. And at the end of the day, if we make enough money to pay for this project as we go, we don't have to come up with any money out of our savings or whatever, and it's just, even though we're not making much money, that would be great. If we get to the end of the year and we only make $10,000, but we've paid off that deal, that would be wonderful. And that looks a lot better than just looking down there and seeing you're losing money all year. And you don't know
Right.
how much of it went to that project. That makes that whole thing feel a lot different.
I would say at this point in time, we're early enough in the whole thing that they could easily go back and look
Right.
and say, hey, okay, this is easy identified and this is for this.
Yeah. Yeah. When you call him, you might let him know that's what we're
What
looking.
we're doing.
That's
Job
what
co-
we're
we need a
doing.
Job cost report. And
Yeah.
if he has invoices, they sent the invoice numbers. I don't know how they send you bills if they have an invoice number attached to it, but if they have the invoice numbers, then they could go and check the
Yeah.
invoices or bills sent and
And if he,
line them up.
I don't have a problem, but if he can send you a report
Instead of him coming.
instead of him coming, I don't have a problem with that. If you're good with it, if he sends you information that you're like, yeah, this is what we're after, and you don't need to come over here.
Let me first see what his thoughts are.
Yeah.
He thought he thinks he's
Right.
got time to go and see it.
Yeah. You make the decision when you talk to
I'll
him.
say this, I've looked into IMPA enough to know that IMPA is currently in a odd situation in that I think they overburdened Mike Adams. He's trying to wear too many hats, and he's the type of dude who wants to wear them, but at the same time doesn't realize, dude, you're wearing too many.
Yeah.
And a couple of his assistants are the same way. So, not that he wouldn't be open to come see us.
Right.
I don't want to add to his burden just for.
Well, yeah, I mean, when I said,
I'll run it by.
after the discussion, it might make more sense. I don't have to see Mike. I just want that information. So if he can make that in a clear, if you think it's clear enough that you understand it and you're good with it, I'm good with it.
Okay.
And then if we decide we still want to talk to him after that, we can talk to, it should be about time for one of their quarterly visits or semi-annual visits, whatever they
So
are.
It's been a minute since he's been here.
Yeah. So either way, I don't care. If you're satisfied with it. Talked about the lawnmower and I talked about the water study and the rate increase. I think that's all I really had. We'll get out here early today with Pat being gone.
Is Pat doing okay with his wife? Did surgery go okay?
I think the surgery went okay, and then I don't know. I think possibly they might have to do another one, but they don't know, and they don't know when. But it looked a lot better. It looked like a leg instead of a. Is that you or me?
That's me. I got it.
Oh,
Teams from them. Sorry.
you got anything else? We
Lawyer
kind of
update?
cut you off.
No. You didn't cut me off. You're fine. Lawyer update. Last time we talked, Amy and lawyer number 2 in her firm, Max, Grumpy, and Corin are going to interview a new lawyer for utility.
We have a new lawyer.
We do. Okay.
We kind of left it. I asked him,
It's the fellow in Amy's office then.
yes, what's his name?
It's okay.
I might think of it
I
after
call
a
him
bit.
lawyer
I
number
can't
2 in
think
my
of it
notes.
now. Anyway, I first asked him, I said, we got this thing going on right now that we need a lawyer right now. And are you okay with just taking that on? And he was. And I said, okay. And then the next question was, if we decide to use you as our permanent lawyer, what about the conflict of interest? Is that going to be a big deal? And he said that shouldn't be any big deal at all. I think we all kind of agree that the odds of us getting into a lawsuit between us and the town board are pretty slim. But he said if that ever happened, he would just have to pass us off to, they would get us another lawyer to get rid of the conflict of interest. And he said that's not a big deal. It's not that uncommon. So
Okay.
we left it at that because, I mean, surely
Good enough.
if we have some kind of conflict, we can work it out.
No.
But you never know. I mean, and it could be some legal thing where it's not that we're even mad at each other. It just has to be some kind of lawsuit to settle something. And anyway, we're covered.
It's just the way the business, everything's structured, set up like playing Monopoly. The rules of the
Yeah.
game, we gotta play.
Yeah.
No hard feelings either way. Yeah, that was the only other item. I'm looking back at my other notes. Yeah, I don't bring anything else up. That's fine. That's
All right, Earl, lay it on us.
All right, so I'm going to. I believe we're at the point where we need to consider developing an ordinance for tree trimming. And the reason being is a couple different. One, everything that we're gonna talk about that I bring up is gonna deal with money. And as we all look around and realize, hey, we gotta start cover some expenses. I believe there's an overall thought process in everyone's head in this community that though they enjoy the advancements of having water, fresh water, electricity, a flip a switch, flush your toilet, everything, they want anything outside of their home to be on somebody else's dime, on their responsibility. I was stopped. I hear about this almost every day from somebody, including who said, hey, come down and take a look at my tree. But anyway,
Right.
I was stopped by someone at the brush pile. He has 2 maple trees in his yard. And what I'm explaining to you now is simply a mindset of what I'm telling you. And he said, well, they're into my triplex, my solar center. I said, well, that's on you. I go, I can come in your yard and trim your trees. You need to find somebody who'll come out and trim your trees. Well, if they come down, they're going to pull down some of your lines too. So
Not if they know what they're doing.
No.
Oh, you mean if they blow
They have to
down?
blow down.
Okay.
So my point is this, there's a mindset already that there are lines, not our lines.
Yeah.
Whereas my thought is every pipe in the ground, every wire that runs through town is the communities. We oversee them, we take care of them, but they're all of ours. So for you to think that you're gonna pressure me, you're kind of twisting my arm and feeling that, oh, you're right, if that big old maple tree pulls down your triplex, it might pull down. It might, and then we really are doing it. But that's a mindset I think we gotta attack in an ordinance that basically would be along the lines of explaining that tree trimming is on you. Tree trimming is your responsibility, and you and I have talked. You plant this tree, you let it grow for years, and all of a sudden, 20 years down the road, it's our problem because now it's touching lines. Where if you trimmed it 2 or 3 years ago.
Or if you'd have planted it in a different
Correct.
place.
Truly, I think it's worth looking.
It's like
into.
mowing your yard, dude.
That's right.
You gotta take care of your
I
stuff.
think it's worth looking into, come up with some ideas. Because I realize it's an issue. I just realize it is. And you see very few people who voluntarily hire Rob or McCoy's or somebody, just voluntarily come out and trim trees. Rarely. It's usually a reaction to a problem.
It's expensive to trim a tree.
Oh my gosh, it is.
And that's why
Thousands of dollars.
they plant them under the lines so that they know down the road if it needs trimmed, the town will trim it for nothing.
I think a lot of people don't put any thought into where they plant the tree other than aesthetic look for what they see right now.
Well, some people, that's true, but I'll bet you money, there's people out there that say, let's plant this under this line so we don't have to pay
You
to
know,
get
back in my alley, I see there's a fence row along the back of someone's fence, my neighbor, and he's got what are those that grow everywhere? Has a fruit on it.
Mulberry.
Mulberry.
I see it, you know, and I'm like back there under the fence, and it's just going right up to the.
Those are turbines.
And, you know, I know the guy's working hard and all that sort, but, you know, I'm just gonna want to go over there and talk to him and say, hey, man, I'll cut this, trim this down for you if you're okay with it. Because it's gonna affect me,
Well,
gonna affect everybody on this block. You
He'll
know?
be okay with it.
I'm
I
sure
got a
he will
neighbor
be.
the same way. I screwed
It's-
up. He put a fence, moved in, put that big fence around his yard. You know who I'm talking about. And when he came, he asked me what the ordinance was in town, if he had to do anything to, I said, well, if it's close to the property line, if you're wanting to put it on the property line, then I think I have to agree. And I said, I don't really know what all the laws are, but if you're far enough on your property, you can do whatever, but you have to go get a permit. And there's a big row of bushes, spirea, big row of spirea there. And I made the mistake of saying, that's the property line, it's those spirea, but they're yours. So if you put it inside those spirea, you'll be far enough on your property that you can build a fence without worrying about me. And I didn't really care. Well, I should have said, you need to have those spirea inside the fence because he treats that like it's my property. He'd never trimmed those bushes. And me and another neighbor, we finally cut them down, sprayed them, killed them. I talked to him.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I don't care about anything. You can do whatever you want out there. So now I mow it, I trim it. It's like it's mine.
Yeah.
You know, he could if I don't take care of it, it'll grow back and look just like it did. But,
I could bring this up at the area planning commission meeting about a tree trimming and just, you know, tell them exactly the issues we're running into. And then we've got a consultant, at least I think we still have a consultant, because at the last town board meeting, they were considering dropping it. But if we still have a consultant, I will talk to him and see what their experience is in other communities.
Sure.
Because Deb Brazier is writing it, and she's writing for all these communities, and have
See-
them pull something up. And then once I get that, I'll bring back some information for you. And if I got something, I'll share it with you.
See, I'm with you, Earl, and I've thought about that. Maybe we've discussed it before because I kind of remember at least thinking about this a lot, if not discussing it. And I think we should be able to charge them.
Oh, absolutely.
If we have to trim it, we should be able to charge them something. However, I don't know what the law says. But we need to look into that. We need to find out.
As a utility that is deemed to be our own organization, and what I'm reflecting on is we have a rules book for utilities from like 1949, and I've read it. You could make up almost any rule because they are actually coming to an agreement to our rules when they sign up for an account. So we can make, now I'm not saying it could be completely out there, but we can make up any rules, say if you want to become part of our utility, in other words, get electricity, water, sewers, you have to agree to our policies, our rules, and if one of them says, hey, if we come on your property, trim trees, you're going to be charged per man hour, per equipment use, per hauling off, whatever
Yeah.
because there are some rules in there. I thought, you know what? We never enforced these, but man, we ought to probably look into it. Now, like I said, 1949, but again, it comes back to they basically join us. If you want to call it a club, call it a club, whatever you call it.
Right.
They join us when they sign up for an account. So anyway, I think it's worth looking into. So if you do that,
Absolutely. Yeah.
There's a utility rules book we have?
Yeah.
Terms and conditions?
Yeah.
Is that,
I'll have to read the whole thing. I'll get you a copy.
can you get me a copy of that?
Yeah.
Because I would like
It's
to know
pretty
what.
interesting reading.
I put in my notes, we have a utility rules book. What's in it?
You realize at one point in time, people looked at it as a privilege to have electricity brought into their home.
Hell yeah, they
Until
did.
49, they're probably still out homes that didn't have it.
Yeah.
We all know they all had septics because they didn't have a pond on it. But anyway, and you had wells and what have you. But they looked at the privilege of having electricity brought to your home. Yes, I'll agree to these. Now they say, yeah, you hook me up. I don't care what you say. Yeah.
And you owe me money because you
Right.
hooked me up.
The other thing is, I brought it before, and I think it's worth looking into, an increase in tap fees. We currently charge $7.50 for a water tap, $7.50 for a sewer tap. And that's just a tap. Now, that's to cover different things, but that's not an impact fee. That's a tap fee. The cost of digging holes, the cost of the supplies, I can tell you it's outrageous. It's outrageous.
So your costs are
Oh my
$1,000.
God. So now this would be them paying us $1,000 to tap into our system for an existing structure. I can tell you across here, I'm charging him, he wants 2 different taps. He's gonna pay 4 separate taps. And he's gonna have to agree to the cost of what all this is. I guarantee we're gonna bear some of it, but the supplies alone for him is $8,000.
Yeah, commercial property.
It's just ridiculous what they cost. And I'm trying to come up with figures to read, because we're gonna cut the street. He's got to pay for the patch, he's gonna have to pay for the backfill. We're gonna try and get a man hour in there to him to pay, because the town has an ordinance, we're not covering any of that stuff. But my point is this, I don't think $750 tap fee is high enough anymore for them to join our system, for an existing structure. So it's just something I think worth looking into as we all discuss how much more things are costing us, where we're gonna get the money from.
So do we need more, do you need to revise an ordinance that outlines a step scale? Like once you get to a certain size of structure or a certain request, you have to put the town will put an estimate together and you're pay it. And then if it's just an existing residential structure, it's $1,000 to tap.
It might be worth it because in this situation, you were asking me, hey, I need a tap for my home. My home already exists, I want a new tap for it to bring water line in. Let's just stay through my garage. You're gonna have a 5/8 inch line up back there unless you're doing some industrial work in your garage. Okay, he's wanting 2 inch.
Right.
Now, that's a completely different ball game.
Well, that whole thing, cutting the street, to me, a tap fee is, stuff is pretty close by and all you gotta do is hook it up. When you start cutting the streets and you got all that labor, that should be time and material anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
Well, what my thought is on the tap fee increase would be everything else is going up. I think it's worth looking into increasing the tap fee too. I mean, just pay into what you're
Cost what
asking.
it costs.
So for instance, under the circumstances, if Eric were to say to me, hey man, I want water right to my garage and I'll different meter and everything, you're talking about, again, you would be cutting the street, you would be doing all these things. I understand we would probably be charging more, but again, hey, guess what? On top of all this, you're gonna pay a tap fee, because now I'm tapping one extra line in. It's not an impact fee because you're not building a new structure. It's one extra person who's now sucking more water out, who's now putting more sewage back into the pond. And just, I think it's worth looking into as far as increasing.
Yeah, $1,000 to bring equipment out there digging.
I agree.
It seems incredibly reasonable.
So we'll look into that.
How do we go about and just increasing it? Do we bring that to the town board
It
and
was-
say,
We would make a request for a ordinance to
Yes.
raise it.
and so what does our current ordinance say? I mean, it does address, like, if you have to cut the street that the customer is due for all those things.
The ordinance about the, we're not covering increased costs addresses the fact that we're not buying, you make a home addition, you build a new structure around it, the town will not bear any of the costs of your addition. So Mike Gideon is doing this work out here. Mike Gideon had to sign an agreement with us, the town. I had to write up an agreement for him to cover all of IMPA's, everything IMPA said it's gonna cost them, they're gonna charge us, he's paying for it. So I had to write this all up. So the ordinance itself is pretty straightforward.
Okay.
The town will not cover any of these costs anymore. Just can't afford to do it.
Or we can if we increase everything.
Oh my gosh.
We can actually vote to take that to the town board at the next meeting if you want.
I can't remember if you were at the meeting or not, but I brought it up to town council and they said, well, why don't you talk about it in utility board meeting like we're doing right now and then bring it to us. So they're already kind of aware that, now do they remember? I don't know. But they're already aware that this was kind of on the table, our thought that we would discuss. So
Will they need backup information from justification? Like you need to have, here's an average labor amount of time, equipment that it takes for us to do this? And
I don't
see the
believe
cost.
so. I believe they bring a recommendation from utility.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, you gotta trust the guys in the trenches and Earl's the man in the trench, and if he says it's $1,000 to tap it, then that's what it costs. So I think
Yeah.
we need to make a move. Does Pat have to be here for us to vote on it?
Nope, we just have to have a quorum. We got 2 out of 3.
Well, I think we need to bring it up and tell them that this is a recommendation, or you think everyone's, I mean, the sad part is I see all these costs coming in, it's all coming in at once. But for the most part, this is for new business, and new stuff is gonna start to bubble, I'm sure, at some point in time. We need to be set up for it.
Make a motion, I'll second it.
I make a motion to increase the tap fees to $1,000 per Earl's recommendation on the existing structures.
Okay, I second the motion. Oh, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Earl, you gonna,
I'll bring it up to them.
Bring it
I'll
up
say
at the
that
meeting.
Utility board agreed to propose it to them and see what their thoughts on
they have a meeting Monday?
it Monday.
Okay. I should be there as far as I know.
I got my schedule all messed up.
Now, the other thing I'll address right now is going back to this compensation thing. Couple things. One, I want to understand exactly what you're talking about, this November thing, because one of the things we discussed in the prior meeting, which I said, hey, give me a chance to come to you guys with some info, was the idea of immediately raising some of these to cover the rest of the year. And one of the comments you made, Max, was, well, we're close enough to the end of the year just to wait till then. Well, there's 4 months left in the year. So that's not really close enough. We're 2/3 of the way. So that's a significant amount of time of not raising rates. But if there's a reason we're going to wait longer, that's basically what I'm going to approach you about. But with that said, I want to make sure all of us are on the same page as far as compensation goes. I know we all kind of when the idea of coming up, you've already mentioned the fact that, hey, 10% means another 19. I understand all that. But on the flip side of that, first, there's no one in this room that has any control over the value of the dollar that we're paying out. We have no control over that. And as all of us have to bear the brunt of looking at the town and saying, hey, pay more, pay more, pay more, it's not our fault. It's not our fault it costs so much more to do all these things. And as I look at our costs, I mean, we spend thousands of dollars every month just for testing of our water, which we have to do by IBM policies. Thousands of dollars. We spend thousands of dollars every month just on the chemicals we have to feed, whether it be chlorine coming into the drinking or for the sewer. The amount that we spend just on the regular testing from our equipment. I got B.L. Anderson coming out here. They have to test our equipment on a regular basis, they have to calibrate things. They have to repair things. They're constantly going. It's not cheap to do this. I mean, it is very expensive to do all this stuff. In the end run, it's going to be expensive to man all this stuff too. So what I want to say is, I've listened to all three of you say, we got to take care of these workers. We got to take care of these workers. If you really feel that way, 19% added on or no 19% can be considered, but it shouldn't be the roadblock that stops any of this happening. We are in a bind for many different reasons but one of the main reasons is because we didn't want to pass all these rate increases. We went many years with our real role is to provide the best product we can provide, which is water, electricity, sewage. For me, it's a few other things because I'm also doing the streets, obviously, now the parks and whatever. But regardless, to provide the best product costs money. And as we grimace to look at all the people who live in town and whether or not what are their costs, little old lady over here will get more of her Social Security or savings, whatever. I understand that too. At the same time, again, we have no control over the value of the dollar that we're either spending or paying out. So with that said, when I approached Okra, when I talked to Dan Cutshaw, when I talked to him about all these grants and the bonds and what have you, our rates, because I'm listening to him say that we're kind of being put in a category because our rates aren't high enough. One of the things they look at when they consider us for bonds and what have you is basically the idea behind rates are not only can we pay back certain things, but do we as a utility board and a town, do we have our act together enough that we're charging enough to cover what we're trying to provide? Or, so I realize there's some of that in there too. So I guess my comment would be, as we move forward, I think it's fair to also say that we can look at our team members the same way over these years as we look at rate increases. You get paid enough. Just do it. Whereas I'm going through an issue with Sandy. And I'm not saying she's on her deathbed. One, she looks bad. Two, she hasn't been here all week. Three, she still works from her phone at home. What are you pointing at?
The recorder. I just want to make sure you know you're.
I know. Well, let's go. Let me say whatever else I'm going to say.
We're still live on
Sons.
TV.
I know. Well, I don't say anything that she hadn't let everybody else know.
Okay.
But if you're concerned about that, because I kind of am, I would rather end the meeting and.
Well, I mean, I'm not concerned about it. If you're okay with it, I just wanted to make sure you knew
Yeah, oh, yeah.
she's going to hear that.
I know.
Okay.
Oh, shoot. There's nothing I've got to say to you guys that I haven't already said to her. And the
Okay.
fact of the matter is, she's working from her home, and she's feeling bad. She's not looking good, and I commend her for everything that she's done. I think that the way that we can say that we appreciate the effort is through compensation. We can pat her on the back, we can send her flowers, we can give her baked cookies all day long. That and at the end of the day, that means very little. I feel the same way about Danielle and the way she stepped up. Here's a woman who took on a part-time role and without hesitation, without pushback, agreed to full-time because of Sandy's health. I mean, she's just done a tremendous amount for us, continues to do so. Here recently, because Sandy has allowed so many people access to her personal phone number and everything and email, she continues to get emails from people asking about bills, asking about, hey, can I wait to pay after the due date, but I swear I'll pay it. She still deals with that on a regular basis. She's the one who approaches people on Facebook and what have you, who might make comments about. So my thoughts is, as we move forward, I've said before, we have a very good staff, and they go way above and beyond. I will make sure we're on the same page. I truly appreciate what they do, whether it be an extra 19% on top of the 10%, 15%, or 20% of what I'm talking about. It's considered, but at the same time, okay, well, we probably didn't pay them enough for the many, many years anyway. So let's consider all that as we move forward. That's just my point on all this, because I see it every day. This job is a type of job that we all know what it is. It asks more from you than what you really receive. Okay, is that to be accepted? Okay. Just like you guys. You guys have to put more into it than what you really receive. You know as well as I do, Max, what you went through with that water thing, above and beyond. I can't speak for you. You did it, but you did more than you could probably ever get credit for. But with this, and we can actually compensate for it. So I'm just saying, I don't know what your thoughts are and how much you want to talk about this right here and right now. I came prepared to talk about it today. If you don't want to, if you want to put it off, we can do that also.
I'm fine discussing it.
It's up to you guys what you want to do. You said something about November and everything, so.
Well, I'm not saying we have to wait till November, but I thought we had to have this done like right now.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, Pat's not here, and even though we have quorum or what have you, I didn't think we were gonna make any sort of decision thing anyway.
I don't think we should make decisions on that without all of us being
I
here.
think he should be here then if we're gonna discuss about it in
Yeah.
depth. I just wanted to make a statement saying I want to make sure that we're kind of on the same page, that we really are earnest in our approach.
The only challenge though I see is, like you said, no budget. How can you make an increase if you don't know where the budget lies? Is that, I mean, that's correct, that's where we're at.
Yeah.
And then Earl's saying is, what's the point? We've already taken advantage of these people for so long, right? And it's only, am I getting?
Well, you're getting part of what my statement would be.
I'm not trying to hold back. I want them to make a decent wage. I'm not against the bump to what is it, $25 an hour, I guess. I might have said 25,000 a year. That wasn't what I meant. $25 an hour. I'm not against doing that at all. I would feel better about doing it once we have a budget that shows we have the money for it. Or we figure out where we're going to get the money for it by increases or whatever. I don't think we're being a very good board if we just start passing out big raises and don't know if we can pay for them or not. Or how we're going to pay for
I
them.
guess, so do we establish how much money we allocate for increased pay in the budget and then allocate it that way? Or do we look at what Earl's requesting for staff and say, this is how much of an increase in pay yearly that we want, and then look at that number and see how we get it paid for? I mean, one approach is, we'll see what the budget tells you we can pay. The other budget is, this is what you need to keep things rolling. And it's like one of those situations that if the tire's $1,000 and you're stuck on the side of the road, and you can't go anywhere, you got to pay $1,000 for a tire and keep on rolling.
I think it's a combination of the two. I think we look at our budget and
So at this point, we don't know how much we can afford in wage increases. At this point, do you know what the total yearly wage increase is?
I do.
Okay.
So let me make a couple comments on what you just said. One is, I'm not positive we've ever truly worked with a budget in the past.
we have never.
That's my thoughts. Now, we have an income statement. We look at that because you bring it in, we look at it.
Right.
So we do know where some incomes are, and we do know where some additional incomes are that we've never had before. And therefore, I will tell you this, as I've looked through this and I've looked through our income statements, there's more than enough money to take care of what I'm proposing. Now, before I say anything else, do you want to talk about all this? I mean, I'm not going to say anything bad, but I mean, do you want to do it?
You want to wait till Pat's? I'm game.
I think we should. I'm not sure this needs to be public information. I mean, we're on
I
here.
agree. Well, shoot, we can end the meeting right
There's
now.
probably nobody. It's supposed to tell you if somebody's on there, but I don't see where.
We can go ahead and end the meeting. Yeah, no one's watching.
Does anybody else have anything else that we want to talk about on here?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, got all my questions answered.
Okay. In that case, I will adjourn the meeting and we'll be done with that. Thank you all for coming.
This is good stuff. Before we go any further, by the way, I want to talk to you about two other issues. Eric